The Chinese secret police, of all folks, are operating in the United States. And they've been targeting a U.S. Army vet, of all people, who's running for Congress, and they're actively attempting to interfere in his candidacy. This is Dr. David D. Xiong. Welcome to Business Law 101. So this is an incredible challenge to U.S. sovereignty, and it was reported recently by the U.S. Department of Justice, who said they had 3 separate cases of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, interfering in the operations of the United States and its citizens. This is a very, very serious situation, and one that must be dealt with at the highest levels. And that's why we're featuring it today on Business Law 101. So the most egregious of the 3 reported cases involves the congressional campaign of Xiong. He is currently seeking the Democratic nomination to run for Congress representing a district of Long Island, New York. Now, listen to this about this fellow. Xiong is a naturalized American citizen and an Army veteran who did 2 tours in Iraq. Yeah, this is not just some passing fellow who happened to go hide out in the United States. This is a fellow who's fully integrated into the United States and deserves the protection of American laws for sure. Why is the Communist Party targeting him? Because he was one of the student leaders for the famous 1989 Tiananmen Square protest. And he also has been outspoken in his support of pro-democracy for the island of Hong Kong, which of course the Chinese did claim that they were going to allow it to self-govern, and have totally violated that agreement. Big surprise there. So the Department of Justice provided some interesting details in the arrest warrant for Lin Queen. He's an alleged Chinese agent, I think obviously a Chinese agent, and he contacts a private investigator in New York, and he says, hey, I want to mess up this guy and manufacture. He's right. He doesn't say, I want you to investigate this guy. He says, I want you to manufacture a political scandal and derail Xiong's campaign for Congress. So the arrest warrant detailed his involvement with a private investigator to implicate Xiong in prostitution, tax evasion, and possession of child pornography. Failing that, this Chinese agent asked the PI to physically harm Xiong by either beating him or forcing him into a car accident. Folks, this is serious stuff. I may be smiling, but it's just because it's so ludicrous. And of course, almost like a television movie or maybe a Jackie Chan movie, the PI gets wind of what's really going on, and fortunately records these conversations and turns them over to the authorities, which is how the Department of Justice got involved. Now, the timing of this situation is very interesting, because just a short time before these were reported, the Biden administration suspended a Trump-era program that was oriented to detecting CCP espionage in the United States. Supposedly, the Biden administration complained that this might be viewed as racial profiling against Chinese Americans. And as many of you know, I am a former director of the Asian Chamber of Commerce in Houston, and am very strongly supportive of the Asian community in the United States. But I don't think protecting Asian Americans from espionage amounts to racial profiling. So let's be careful. Let's be careful with the sovereignty of the United States. And thank you for joining us. This is Dr. David D. Xiong for Business Law 101. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform.